Alright guys, welcome back to another video here. We're going to kind of just jump into this since I'm already going. So it's been a little bit because we've been waiting on some parts. Suncoast, being the awesome company that they are over here. There were 2 steels. So basically the issue that I was having was they only sent me 10 steels, and in the 2 I already put the gear back in, but there's a clutch pack here, and on the other side there's the same clutch pack, the C3 and C4 clutch packs. I should have had 12 steels so that way I could play with tolerance. Well, I only had 10, which is the exact number. So I got the one side good in tolerance, playing with the different sizes of steels. There's 2 different sizes. Those black steels, there's a .098 and a .086. So I played with them and got the one side right, but then I put the 5 in on the other side and it was out of tolerance, so they had to send me a thicker steel, and I put the thicker one in and we got both sides in tolerance. So I'm just trying to move forward. I'm very behind. Got to try and get this thing done. So we installed the P1 Planet. With the Suncoast kit, there's a shim that you put on the washer that comes out of the transmission. I just rubbed some of that petroleum grease stuff on there. You really got to make sure that they stick on the gear and that they don't fall off when you're trying to wiggle the gear down in. I think I'm all good. I'm going to try and look again, but I think I'm good. And then we're going to install the P2 Planet down in here, and then we got to get to the C5 clutches. I got to get them soaking, so I'll probably take some of that stuff out. And yeah, so we're going to get this in. And then probably move forward to trying to put that C1 and C2 hub back together. So we finally got this hub back together. We had all of our pistons out, and then put all the new seals in, and then put these back in. Now the tricky thing is there's, like, this is one set of springs right underneath here. It's the sets of springs that are tricky because you got to compress them, put your snap rings in, and then move forward. With this last one here, it was the harder one. I actually used the hub here, set it in there like that. I used that big blue bar, laid the bar across here, and then just used 2 of those clamps and was able to clamp it down and get this, as you can see it here, this snap ring in. It wasn't bad actually. It took me a while to kind of like mess with it and figure it out, but then we're good. So now we can finally put our new input shaft in. You can kind of see this is the factory. You can see the difference. Obviously the material's the main difference, the billet steel, but you can see they really kind of beef up the input end here. I guess these are known to break off under high stress loads. So yeah, we're going to put our new seals on, clean this up real nice before we put it in. Then we will put it in, install our first snap ring. Then this set of clutches will go first, then another snap ring, then the hub will go in. So I'll try and get all this on video this time. This stuff kind of took a while and it was kind of tedious, so I didn't really want to video it, but we did transition. We didn't continue with that. I wanted to get this hub thing together and get this table kind of like cleared off, and then the hub just kind of sits aside until we're ready to go back in, and then we will soak the C5 clutches, do the C5 side, finish making our tool for the spanner nut, and then yeah, so there's a lot going on, but we're gonna move forward with this rig. working on myself is this bushing here. You can see it's kind of beat to shit now, but so this was the, well, not a seal, bushing in the pump, and your torque converter shaft actually rides right here. So this one, it has like, they have like this like silicone coating on them. I don't know what it is. Like, it's kind of hard to tell now because I beat it up so bad, but there's a spot right there. You can kind of see how it was like worn right here. It was real rough, and this was one of the stupid parts that I've been waiting on. It's kind of been delaying everything, but this thing was a real pain to get punched out. Like, I really had to hit it pretty hard with a punch, and it took a little bit, but got it out, got the new one in. Mark's coming with our sockets. We can get this spanner nut off and get the seals changed on the C5 piston, and then that will be ready to go. I mean, I'm hoping tonight, honestly, to have this thing kind of pretty much back together. I mean, the reassembly is not like that bad, especially from here on out. So we'll get that hub thing done, and then I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, for right now, actually, while I'm thinking of it, we're going to put the P2 Planet back in, and that kind of just drops down in there, so we're going to do that now. Guys, we're gonna call it quits for tonight here. I think I'll probably just pick up tomorrow with the same video, but I keep running into all these tolerance issues. I'm gonna be honest, it's getting very, very, very frustrating. I'm curious to see what they have to say. So the first one is, you measure the depth from this, one of these lugs to this first steel. I'm about, on average, 15 to 20 thousandths off from what Suncoast says in their book. And then this one over here is another, 20, 30 thousandths off when you measure with the plate on. So, I mean, it's not like they're a little bit off. They're a lot off. So we'll see what they have to say tomorrow. I'm really just frustrated at the fact that these are such stupid setbacks. Like to be completely honest, the transmission assembly and whatnot and disassembly has not been that bad, but this has been taking so long because I've been waiting on stupid little parts, like for instance that seal. Then Suncoast had to send me the C3 and C4 steels to get the the C3 and C4 done. Now I'm having issues with the C5 and the C1. I haven't even tried C2 and that yet. So, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like this could be like the never-ending project, but, so yeah, we'll probably pick back up tomorrow. I'm frustrated, so I'm gonna just head to bed for tonight. There's nothing else I can even do, so, we did get our socket made. Mark came through with that. There's our converter tool to pick up our converter. So yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating, but that's it for tonight, guys. Alright guys, so we're picking up where we left off. I know I sounded a little down. I was a little upset about some of this. This tolerance stuff has just been killing me with time. Like, this stuff shouldn't be taking this long, and it's making it take way longer than it should. But I'll be honest, it's a couple days later now. I just figured I'd pick up in this video. So we have the tail shaft assembly all part. This is the billet output, ready to, you kind of got to like tap it in the hub assembly here. I have the pump all put back together, all the new seals, O-rings. So basically, first issue is with the C5s. These are the factory C5s. You can see they're pretty good. Most people don't even bother changing them. These were a little off in there. The way you measure it, I don't know if I said this before, but you take your calipers and measure from the lug to the steel. Should have been like 195. Ended up, I was getting like 215. And the guy at Suncoast said as long as you take, basically I took the discs they sent me out and stacked them up just like this and measured them. He said as long as you were within like roughly 10 thousandths, you should be good. I think it ended up being like 10 or 12, 13 thousandths difference. So I threw them back in, and we're going to call those good. My buddy Garrett, the way he explained this stuff is these transmissions are pretty forgiving as far as tolerance-wise, but you know, that doesn't mean blow off your tolerances. Tolerances are important. But the other thing was with this one, the back plate they sent me, Suncoast, had a lot of play, around 120 thousandths of play. The stock one is way thicker. So I thought I was going to have to face this one down, but actually I told him how much I was out. And he asked me if I was following the Allison manual, and I said yes, but I was following your guys' tolerances. And he said no. If you know, when in doubt, go by the Allison specs. He's like, you can never go wrong. So I would highly recommend to get one of these. If you guys if anyone plans on doing this, go by the book. I mean, yes, the reason I was following their stuff is because their stuff's a little different, but I mean, I think they just try and make some of their tolerances, to be completely honest, just a little bit tighter than some of them I've noticed are just a little bit tighter than Allison's stuffs, you know, the Allison spec manual. So, in short, you can see, I'll show you there, we were at like 120, so we are good to go. I'm basically going to start moving forward with the C2 and put the C2 assembly together, and then we will finish the back assembly of that, bolt it all up, and then flip it over to the other side, put the big hub assembly down in. I mean, we should be able to button this up within a couple hours. So, but we're gonna pause and do a little bit of work. So the hub is assembled. I've been working on the assembly back here. Basically with this, all you're doing is putting your spring plate back in, which the little notch goes right there. Whoops, it's the gasket. Then this is your P3 planet. Yes, P3 planet goes in. I tapped the intermediate, or the output shaft, excuse me, in before I put this in, put it all down in as one. So the ticket with this is, before you put this in, you'll see your intermediate shaft and your P3 sun gear and all that. So the ticket with this is, this piece of wood is holding up that intermediate shaft. You have to hold it up because there is a little sleeve, which I'll show you in the directions what they're talking about. This sleeve here. So basically you align it with an oil hole, and like you can kind of see how you can see the bottom splines there. If that piece of wood wasn't there, you wouldn't see it, and then this spacer has nothing to bite onto. So the key is to keep that held up so that this spacer doesn't fall out of position. And then once we carefully flip it, well, we have to put the cover back on the back and bolt it down. And once we carefully flip it, we'll be able to check. There's a way to check if it's seated or not from the other side, so we can make sure, because it's a pretty crucial step. But yeah, so we're gonna put the back cover back on, bolt it down real quick, and then Alright guys, so we got the back side all buttoned up, the spanner nut torqued down. We are ready to put the hub in. I got my bearing down in there, and so we're just going to drop that in and then basically set our pump in, which I got to torque the bolts on the back of the pump first. And then that goes in, and then our bell housing cover, and then the valve body, and this is pretty much it. But I'm going to take a minute here. I'm kind of mad that I just haven't been able to go in depth with this as I wanted to. If it would have been before I was in school, like I'm trying to not rush, but I'm trying to get it done as quick as I can before before I get set into school, I should say. So, you know, I kind of flew throwing it back together, and I just wish I could have done more step by step. But to be honest, guys, and granted, we haven't started it yet. We don't know if it's going to work. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to work, but you never know until you try it. So, but what I'm trying to get at is that, you know, if you buy the Allison manual, like if you just follow the directions, this is not a bad process. I mean, I see why you leave it to professionals, but I mean, I'd probably do it again. I chose kind of a bad time to do it, and like I said, I'm just frustrated with the lack of good content. Like, I was really excited to make some good videos for you guys, and I think these videos would be alright, but I skipped a lot, and I'm kind of mad about that. But anyway, we're going to put that hub back in, and then torque down the pump and throw our gaskets on, and so we'll keep moving forward. Guys, there's the finished product. Well, not fully finished. I just threw the old filter back on and the old pan back on, because I'm gonna soak the case down with some wheel acid. Works pretty good on like aluminum, so I'm curious to just let it soak a little bit now that it's all together, and it might clean it up. We got our orange plates on, the orange pan and the new filter. I'm just waiting till we get this back in the truck, because I know the pan, like you can see how scratched up this one is. So, you know, we'll beat up on the old pan, and I'm just leaving the old filter on there. So if I hit it or whatever, as we do have to get it back in the truck. So once we get it in the truck, we'll put the new filter and a new pan on, then we'll be done. But right now it is all assembled. Like I said again, guys, man, like, this really wasn't all that bad, other than, you know, I had questions, and let me switch views here. Other than I had questions and just, you know, little setbacks with parts and whatever. So, I mean, I really think if you're pretty decently mechanically inclined and you can follow directions and have a couple good buddies that maybe know what they're doing, like, I think you could do this. It's not too bad. But I mean, again, I'm not going to speak too much, because we got to see it work first. But, you know, and again, I kind of apologize. I just wish I could have filmed this a little better, but that's going to be it for this video. We're all cleaned up here, and so the next video we'll be putting it back in and seeing if it works and how it drives and whatever. So stay tuned for the next one. That's going to be the big one. It's going to be the ones you guys are going to want to see. That's going to be the one I'm going to really want to record, because I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I think we did everything right. I'm hoping there's no issues. And so yeah, stay tuned, and if you haven't hit that like button already, and if you're not subscribed, please do those things. And thanks again, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.